'Tis not the Capitan's fault. We are cursed. We have been cursed since the day our good King Philip set us on this course." "Is that true?" Bartolome wondered. "Are we cursed?" He had no time to ponder the answer before one of the afflicted, their cooper, lurched over to a water barrel and plunged his face into the tepid liquid, sucking in great gulps. The sick man came up with water sluicing down his shoulders. His voice was reed-thin when he wailed, "The thirst! It claws at me!" A second later, the man grabbed his stomach and retched onto the sand at his feet. Like the surgeon, the flesh had hollowed over the cooper's cheeks and eyes. The skin on the backs of his hands was wrinkled like parchment, making him appear far older than his 27 years. Rosario crossed himself and whispered a desperate prayer. In weeks past, Bartolome may have joined his midshipmen in a plea to the Almighty. Of late, however, he had begun to lose faith that God cared one whit about any of them. After watching the cooper crawl back to his bedroll and curl into a miserable ball, Bartolome closed his nose to the foul stench of illness and unwashed bodies, and made his way over to the afflicted man. He was determined to offer any aid he could. After kneeling beside the cooper, however, he knew his ministrations would be for naught. The dark specter of death was there in the cooper's eyes. 'Twould not be long now before the man's soul left his body to fly into the mystery of the afterlife. Poor bastard, Bartolome thought helplessly. He had been so certain if they were patient, if they remained stalwart and true to their cause, a Spanish ship would happen upon them. He had been convinced that with a prize as colossal as the one the Santa Cristina had carried in her big belly, their good king would have every ship in the Spanish Navy scouring the waters of the Caribbean, looking for her remains. Yet, the days had stretched into weeks, and the weeks had stretched into months. Not once from their various makeshift crow's nests built around the island had they spied a vessel flying the colors of home. Not once had their searching eyes detected even a glimmer of salvation. 'Twas as if their island had been enchanted by some terrible sea witch's spell, visible only to their enemies. "Mayhap Rosario is right," Bartolome mused miserably. "Mayhap we are all doomed to die on this sorry spit of mangrove forest and sand." But if their fate was to be forever entombed on the island, he took comfort in knowing the treasure remained hidden in its new home, remained safe and secure from the light of day and the beady, covetous eyes of their numerous adversaries, till a true son of Spain comes to claim it. Chapter 1. Present day, 8:45 p.m. Tactical awareness. It meant knowing all the exits in the bar, having a close approximation of how many people were inside making merry, and recognizing the two guys in the corner drinking whiskey and wearing 10-gallon cowboy hats carried concealed weapons in calf holsters under their Wranglers. Texans, you gotta love 'em. For Spiro, Romeo, Delgado, tactical awareness also meant knowing the exact moment Mia Ennis walked into the place. The hairs on his arms stood up. His stomach balled into a tight fist, and the oxygen in the room was reduced by half, which was something, considering Schooner Wharf Bar was open air along 3 whole sides. These physical symptoms caused by her mere presence were nothing new. He'd been suffering from them ever since she'd been hired on to oversee the excavation he and his former SEAL team members and current Deep Six Salvage partners were doing on the legendary Santa Cristina. The state of Florida required a site with any sort of historic significance must contract a trained and certified professional to document the salvage process. And since there wasn't a more historic relic in all the Caribbean than the Grand Ghost Galleon, enter Mia Ennis, acclaimed marine archaeologist. But back to the skitchy arm hair, mutinous stomach, and insufficient...